Growing up, I lived by the slogans Hakuna Matata and Just Keep Swimming. However, just like in the real world, Disney isn't a perfect fairy tale, and the fundamental issues within their films tends to go overlooked. The average viewer is unlikely to consciously process how gender is being portrayed through princesses, princes, and villains. This can pose a serious problem, as movies are targeted at younger, impressionable audiences. Although the explicit overarching messages from Disney films are often positive, the subliminal messages regarding gender that are transmitted through Disney movies, especially those made before the 2000s, needs to be addressed, as they have a detrimental effect on how society grows up to view gender. The majority of Disney characters are male, and even when women are the lead protagonists, they still make up less than half of the cast in Disney films. This gender imbalance poses a serious issue. In general, representation is important, and young girls should be able to see themselves in a wide breadth of characters, not just princesses. Young girls should feel free to be sassy, funny, mischievous, and support their friends, just like the wide array of male sidekicks in Disney films. The lack of non-princess female characters boxes girls into feeling as though they only have one option to identify with. Female viewers are then subconsciously pressured to be like these princesses and follow the strict set of gender norms that they often portray. Although many Disney movies do have a female villain, this alternative is not a suitable role model because they're often hated and not accepted by society. The root of this problem traces back to the virgin whore dichotomy. The idea that women can only fit into one of two models has plagued society for generations, and unfortunately, Disney often continues to support this damaging ideology. Furthermore, having different types of female role models is invaluable, not only to the development of young girls, but informing how young boys view females and what they believe them to be capable of. The gender divide only becomes worse when you look at the number of lines said by female and male characters. In The Little Mermaid, 68% of speaking lines are said by males. This number increases to 71% in Beauty and the Beast, 77% in Mulan, and up to 90% in Aladdin. Clearly, it's not the females that are propelling the story, expressing their opinions, or speaking up for themselves. Having the majority of lines said by males perpetuates the idea that females should be seen and not heard. This is then compounded by the general lack of female characters, which perpetuates the idea they should barely even be seen. Although Disney films are not directly telling young girls that they shouldn't speak or be seen in a wide array of roles, the message is transmitted subconsciously. In this case, what viewers do not see and hear is just as impactful as what they do. Taking a closer look at what viewers are actually seeing in Disney films in terms of the physical appearance of characters proves to be equally as problematic. I do want to note that there have been questions about whether Disney has whitewashed their princesses, but as the issue of race does not directly pertain to the issue of gender in this presentation, I'm going to focus on aspects of physical appearance excluding skin color. Disney's cookie-cutter model for males is taller than the princess, broad-shouldered, square-jawed, and muscular. The attributes of princes serve as a standard male physique for children. Feeling the pressure to look a certain way in order to be successful or woo a lady is harmful to young boys. Although it's not discussed as often, like women, men come in different shapes and sizes and have their own set of unattainable beauty expectations. In the same vein as the carbon copy princess, the traditional Disney princess follows a simple template, extremely thin and in clothes accentuating their chest and waist. This sends young girls a message that they all need to look the same way based on the images they are shown. This can result in serious issues surrounding body image and self-esteem. One of the most prominent issues is regarding weight. Seeing only slim females with non-existent waists as the standard of beauty is incredibly damaging if your body does not fit that model. Young girls begin to strive for this created idea of beauty that stems from these princesses. Unfortunately, some do so through unhealthy means, potentially developing eating disorders, and may even resort to self-harm when they're unable to obtain these unrealistic and impossible standards. Overall, for both male and female leads, there's a strong emphasis on appearance, neither of which is beneficial to children's development. On the other hand, the appearance of villains is a bit more broad. 55% of Disney villains are either women or feminized men. Male villains are commonly drawn with feminine features. For example, Governor Radcliffe from Pocahontas wears his hair in pigtails with bows at the end. Many other male villains follow suit, having long hair, including Captain Hook from Peter Pan, Shan Yu from Mulan, and Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Others, like Jafar, have what appears to be eyeshadow and eyeliner on their lids and very feminine arched brows. The implication that feminine men are naturally villainous sends a strong subconscious message to viewers. Males who do not fit the Prince Charming physique and display feminine characteristics must be evil and selfish at heart. Because these characters are hated and often end up dead or exiled by the end of the film, young boys learn that showing these characteristics leads to an unfortunate end. Therefore, boys feel the expectation to present a certain way to avoid looking feminine. However, instead of feeling pressure to look a certain way to appease societal beauty expectations like girls, they may feel as though their physical well-being is at risk. Although this might seem like an exaggeration, sadly, real people have been physically and verbally abused, and in several cases even killed for breaking out of traditional gender norms. Young boys in real life can face serious consequences for growing their hair out or wanting to wear nail polish and makeup in some communities. Obviously, physical appearance should never be equated with personality traits or be used to judge others. But because of Disney's repeated use of feminine characteristics in male villains, an unfortunate correlation has been made. Ironically, there is much more diversity in female villains than there is in princesses. Perhaps this is because there are more ways for women to step out of line, as femininity has had such a strict definition in the eyes of Disney animators. The most variety is in body shape and size. While Disney princesses all have the same hourglass figure, villains are either overweight, like the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, or practically skeletons in the case of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. In addition, many times, highly identifiable features that usually denote femininity are hidden, designed to be misshapen, or made to look grossly terrible. Ursula from The Little Mermaid is a prime example of this, as she has large sagging breasts, a rather odd body shape and proportions, and tentacles in the place of long, beautiful legs. Even the animated villains feel the pressure to stay looking youthful by taking on gobs of makeup, in the case of pretty much every female villain, with lots of eyeshadow being most noticeable. On the rare occasion when female villains are beautiful, their true form is later revealed to show a horrible creature underneath, such as the evil queen transforming into grotesque old women in Snow White, or Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty literally turning into a deadly dragon. I recognize that children are not doing a film analysis every time they watch their favorite Disney movie, but the messages that are repeatedly shown to them do have an impact. Disney's subliminal messages about what should be accepted have real-life implications and should not be taken lightly. Gender norms are defined by society, and what is shown in the media plays a major role in establishing, maintaining, or working to change those definitions. Furthermore, how children are exposed to ideas regarding gender influences how they see themselves and others as they become adults. Disney is one of the first forms of media that children watch, and for many it's a major part of their childhood. Although Disney has begun to take steps in the right direction with movies like Brave, Frozen, and Moana, some of the subliminal messages that are still being sent haven't changed. Disney needs to continue to hire women directors, character creators, animators, and writers, as well as monitor character counts and dialogue distributions. They also need to continue to ensure that modern princesses and princes have a well-rounded personality and diverse, realistic body types. Lastly, villains should have fresh looks and should not be identifiable as automatically evil because of gender nonconforming designs. Disney has the power to break away from the traditional narrative, and I hope that they use their influence to make a lasting change in how children grow up to understand gender and themselves. Thank you.